And yes, it is another weekend to talk about what we'll be going through the sporting world for the week. For some countries, they have had a taste of what the season will look like, while for two countries, it is the weekend they have been waiting for since the last one came in May 2025. When it comes to 24-25 season, I'm talking about another league than the German Bundesliga and the Italian Serie A. It returns to action for their match day one, where this in match day one from the English Premier League, the Spanish La Liga, and of course the French League. So what we're going to be looking out for the first match for the German League, Leicester will come through on Friday. The reigning champion Bayern Munich are in action against RB Leipzig. Another game where Vincent Kompany wants to exercise his dominance as early as possible, because yes, they are the reigning champion, and what a way to defend by starting your game with 3 points. Of course, even playing the game at home means that the fans will be ready to welcome the recently crowned Super League, Super Cup winner from their last game they played last weekend against Stuttgart. For Leipzig, last season wasn't the best of performance for them. They didn't make it to the top four, even to any part of Europe next season. So this season, to be thinking we need to do something different to be able to get ourselves first of all close to the top four and see if there's something good for us to get something from the league. Hope that is what God feature to look for from the Germany. Don't forget some of the big names also in action. We have the likes of Bayern Leverkusen are having their first game under Erik ten Hag, the man who have been brought in to take over from Xabi Alonso's side. But he's starting on not a bright note now, because yes, a lot of players have been sold. Like of course the Frimpong, the likes of Florian Wirtz, the likes of course goalkeeper Hedeke, Granit Xhaka, and of course Jonathan Tah, even recently, and of course one man was sold to of course a team in England called Bournemouth. And this one player leaving will probably give him something to think about. Can we come through? But let's talk about the future they have. They'll be coming through against Hoffenheim on Saturday, and that game will be another big one to show the fans that he's not going to be coming through the way from what they have last season, which is probably to win the title. They will have that feature coming through. Eintracht Frankfurt against Werder Bremen. Recently, they sold the striker to Liverpool. Ekitike, of course, they are one team that knows how to sell strikers and also buy one in return. Remember, in January, they sold the Umar Mahmoud to Man City. So I probably would thinking their major target this season is to remain in the top four and see what they can get at the end of the cup game, especially the Derby poker that is still ongoing. They will have that feature. Freiburg against Augsburg. Will have Union Berlin against Stuttgart. Like I mentioned, Stuttgart lost the Super Cup against Bayern Munich last weekend. So the new season is a target for them to be in the up amongst those who will be qualifying for the Champions League next season. And then we'll have that feature. Hedhems, Wolfsburg will have St. Pauli against Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund are always in the challenge for the title every season, but most times they fail to make it out, and sometimes they just manage to get to the top four as they did last season. But let's see what happened for this season, being the first full season for Niko Kovac and his team. Come over ahead of that, what's that feature to look out for? Mainz 5 is it FC Köln, and then last game for the week, match of the one for the German League is Borussia Mönchengladbach against Hamburger, who are coming back for the course at the German Bundesliga League 2 after over 5 to 6 years. But then move on to the next league we'll talk about for the weekend. It is the start of a new season for teams who are participating in the international. It's been a long way away from coming back from the last triumph order, of course, because Antonio Conte, we had Napoli, we had Croatia. But this weekend they'll be starting their game hoping to get a result, even though they are playing it away from home. And not forgetting, they also have a big event in their hand, because they'll be doing that without the service of their star striker Romelu Lukaku is injured. Yes, Napoli game is against Sassuolo, and they'll have that game to look out for. Girona against Lecce will have AC Milan, the great Cremonese. AC Milan are also hoping to have a good season, because last season they were knocked out from the cup competition as a paper competition, and even missed out on qualification for any of the football. But they will be happy that they have one man who knows the job. They have winning trophy, Massimiliano Allegri, a new coach who was brought back to try and bring the old glory days of AC Milan. Then we'll have that feature coming to us out the AS Roma against Bologna. Bologna tried their best to be among the big boys last season. They failed to qualify in the top four, but they were believing they can do it again. While for AS Roma, having brought in Gasperini from Atlanta, they'll be thinking this man that gave them a European trophy last season can still help us to win something for this. And then the Sunday feature to go for will have less of course Cagliari against Fiorentina on that season where they will probably try to qualify for Europe and majorly probably avoiding qualifying for the Conference League for 4th season in a row. How of course the Como against Lazio will be hoping to do better this season. While for Como, they have exceeded their expectation by maintaining their top flight status on that certified gap. But this is they're probably thinking we can do more with what we have got for the market. They will have Atalanta against Pisa, even though they have transfer issues between, of course, the club and Admiral Lukman. that shouldn't stop the club for trying to start the season on a good note right there at the Bergamo Stadium. They will have Juventus against Parma, will have Udinese against Verona. The last game, but not the least, for match day one, is Inter Milan against Torino. A new coach, Chivo, who will be hoping that he can take over from, of course, Inzaghi and probably bring glory days back to, of course, the San Siro Stadium with this. And then moving back to the league, where we already see match day one. Let's talk about the English Premier League. We saw Chelsea, we had action for over the weekend, but to get the result, they kicked up a lot, but they'll be kicking off match day two starting on Friday, where they have a game against, of course, the West Ham. West Ham were beaten very superbly by Sunderland, who were back in the league for the first time after 7 to 8 years. And then the Friday game is Chelsea against West Ham at Stamford Bridge, their first home game, hopefully their first trip. As far as I said, West Ham should be easy for them. But let's see how that goes on Friday, which is, of course, today. But even that, we're going to feature look out for from Saturday feature in the Premier League. We have big ones to look out for. The biggest game for the weekend comes up in the early hours Saturday, 12:30 precisely. Manchester City takes on Tottenham Hotspur. Last weekend, Man City won against Wolves by 4 goals not away from home. Tottenham Hotspur won by 3 goals nothing. Richarlison got 2 goals, and including probably the goal of the month after his second goal was made on by an acrobatic, of course, replication of the goal he scored for Brazil in 2023. So yes, it's going to be a big one between Pep Guardiola and the first major test for Thomas Frank of the Tottenham Hotspur goalkeeper, of course, the coach. I'm also probably trying to come away with what they have suffered in the last 24 hours, where they saw a transfer market being hijacked by their close neighbor Arsenal. They moved away from that. Will have Bournemouth against Wolverhampton. That's two teams who lost. They are playing game for Bournemouth. They gave a good account of the same against Liverpool, even though they saw a racist abuse in that event, and then we saw them coming through against that game. 2 goals for Sam Iron, but at the end of the day, they still lost the game. And then we have, of course, Wolves lost at home by 4 goals nothing. Moving ahead, we have Brentford, Aston Villa. Aston Villa had a golden draw, but we hope to have a better one while Brentford lost their first game under Kent Andrew. And we hope to also have a better game because it will be their first game. And to have Burnley, so there are 2 teams who played against each other twice at least last season. The championship side, Burnley lost their first game, Sunderland won their first game. So the question is, who gets the second 6 point of the tournament, or probably their first point? And then again, moving ahead, we'll have Arsenal against this night. Arsenal will be hoping to have 6 points from 2 games, and probably also do that without considering go after the one against United at last weekend feature away from home by good note. So the feature that comes through Crystal Palace Nottingham Forest, this probably will be a game of revenge because Crystal Palace are playing against a team that takes up their position in the UEFA. You probably why they are not playing qualifiers for the UEFA Cup. They will have Everton, of course, Brighton. For Everton, it will be a major game for them because it will be their first game at the, of course, Heath Dickinson Stadium after they move away from Golden City Park last season. They will have Newcastle against Liverpool, and not forgetting also a big one for both sides. Newcastle will be thinking you are looking to sign a player. Let's show you, even without him, we'll still win. Of course, we'll have Man United against Fulham. Man United also will be able to have their first powerful play precisely what the fans have said, the best performance so far in the last 6 months, but lost to Arsenal. They'll be able to get 3 points against Fulham, while for Brighton and Everton on that big game. Quickly, let's move on to the Spanish La Liga. And of course, let's talk about what we saw from the Spanish Liga game. Match day 1, Barcelona won their game against Mallorca. Madrid won against Arsenal by good nothing. I got the Madrid lost by 2 goals to 1. Vince scored the first goal of that game. But for the weekend game, protocol, the Spanish Liga, Barcelona also had a feature away from home. But let's talk about what the game to look out for against Betis Alaves. That comes up. We have Mallorca against Celta Vigo, 2 teams that lost their opening game. I think Madrid hoping to win their first game against Elche. We have Levante against Barcelona. On that day, the champion to show they can win 6 points in 2 matches. So Arsenal Valencia on that game to look out for. This is that against Espanyol, and then we'll have Villarreal Girona, and not forgetting Rio Vedo against Real Madrid. Of course, we'll have the last Atletico Bilbao against Rayo Vallecano, Sevilla against Getafe. These are the games to look out for on match day 2 from the Spanish Liga. And just to wrap it up, let's talk about the match day 2 feature from the League 1 side. Remember the first game we saw champion PSG struggle, but won against not by good nothing. Monaco won by 2 goals to 1. Marseille lost, Lazio, or that Marseille lost, and Lyon won by good nothing. So quickly, what are the features to look out for on match day 2 for the French League 1? We have, of course, the PSG against Angers by, of course, the early hours of the Friday games in the evening. Marseille against Paris FC, the newly promoted team. We have Nantes against RCB. Nantes also lost their last game. We have Lyon against Metz. We also look at, of course, Lorient against Brest. We have Le Havre against Lens. We also going to see Toulouse against Brest. Strasbourg against Nantes, and then we have Lille against Monaco. Probably one of the big games to look out for match day 2 in the French League. Remember, this is the second game of this league, and probably more to come, but you have to win your matches now to determine your progress in the last game of the game. But this is what I will tell you. These are the previews of the big match or the big league for the season. Do have to listen again because by next week we're talking about the reviews of this match that will come through Friday today, Saturday tomorrow, and then Sunday. God bless you for watching. Like, comment, and share this video.